Hello students, I am Rohitaj Singh Chauhan and I am here for discussing on the topic of introduction to IC technology. In the topic we have discussed so far about CZ process and crystal defects. Now we will discuss float zone growth. Float zone growth. When extremely high purity silicon is required, then we use float zone growth techniques. The basic feature of this growth technique is that the molten part of sample is supported entirely by the solid part, thereby eliminating the need of crucible. In float zone growth, a rod of high purity polycrystalline material is held in a chuck while a metal coil driven by high power RF signal is slowly passed along its length. The field set up by RF power induces eddy currents in the rod. This eddy currents lead to Joule heating. The coil power is such that the part of rod closest to coil is melted. The entire apparatus is encapsulated in a vacuum system or in an enclosed chamber with inert gas purge. To ensure growth in the preferred orientation, a seed crystal may also be used. In this technique, a thick neck of 3 mm diameter and about 10-20 mm length is pulled. A disadvantage of float zone growth is the difficulty of introducing a uniform concentration of dopants. Now, the another figure shows that float zone system for growing large diameter bowls. For large diameter bowls, we use this method as shown in the figure. Now, the methods used in FZ technique. First one is core doping. Core doping refers to use of doped polysilicon rod for the starting material. On the top of this rod, additional undoped polysilicon is deposited until the average desired concentration is reached. This process can be repeated through several generations if necessary. Gas doping. Gas doping is accomplished by using gases like phosphine. The gas may be injected as the polysilicon rod is deposited, or it may be injected at the molten ring during float zone refining. Pill doping. Pill doping is accomplished by drilling a small hole in the top of rod and inserting the dopant in the hole. If the segregation coefficient of the dopant is small, most of it will be carried in the melt as it passes the length of the bowl. Transmutation doping. For light N-type doping, float zone silicon can be doped through a process called transmutation doping. In this process, the bowl is exposed to a higher brightness neutron source. Now we are having characterization evaluation of crystals. Routine evaluation of crystals, also called ingots or bowls, involves testing their resistivity, evaluating their crystal perfection, and examining their mechanical properties like size and mass. Other less routine evaluation includes measuring the crystal's oxygen, carbon, and heavy metal content. The evaluation of heavy metal content are made by minority carrier concentration measurement and neutron activation analysis. After growth, the crystal is usually weighted, then inspected visually. Growth crystalline imperfections such as twinning are apparent to unaided eyes. Section of ingots containing such defects are cut from the bowl and then butt end of ingot a slice cut from that portion and then etched to reveal defects such as dislocation. Now in the slide you all of you are watching that we are having resistivity measurement, and the method is called 4-point probe method. In this method of resistivity measurements are made on flat ends of crystal by 4-point probe technique. This is shown in the figure. Current I is passed through outer probes and voltage V is measured between inner probes. So we can measure resistivity directly by means of this method and characterize and evaluate the crystals. So this is all about the FZ technique and characterization of and evaluation of crystals. Thank you.